Okay, you guys. I feel like, you know how when a front comes through weather-wise, you can sometimes feel it on the way, like you can smell the rain. You can feel a shift. Something's coming. And I'm getting that feeling this morning. It's the time before, though, this sort of pressure change or pressure buildup. And again, with the bug bites and, summer in Maine. And again, I heard another reader. Again, I don't know. I don't remember who. But I wrote it down. High Priestess. One of my favorite cards, and a mysterious card, and that energy is all about the mystery. And so I'm always sort of puzzling over it because, you know, kind of the traditional take on it is this is somebody who doesn't talk. And I think that's true. What she knows in her she's highly intuitive, she's a seer. But she's also the feminine energy of reception of the moon. A card of Cancer, of cyclical energy. But the thing that I never really thought about is if she's not speaking and she's a seer, she's a mystic, it's because she's listening. She's busy listening. And mystery is not something you can easily convey by going blah, blah, blah. She's trying to take it in. And usually in traditional Rider-Waite, she's wearing a hat that has these scoops on the ears. And I've described this, but I just never put it together quite. These are like satellite dishes. You know, she's listening to the things coming in from beyond to see if there is a message out there. She's not concerned with speaking it yet because she's busy receiving. And the other thing that occurred to me was the idea of the fire bearer in the oldie days, you know, when we just figured out how to save fire from a lightning storm or whatever it was. Then the idea is when you're on the move, you know, in whatever migratory thing you're doing, somebody's charged with being the fire bearer. The one who has to take the embers of the last fire and keep them alive on the journey so that when you get there or to your next stopping place, you have the seed of the fire to reignite the thing for the whole group, but you're the fire bearer. And there's something about that, and I think, I don't know, that's a very sacred position to be trusted to keep the flame alive, on the move, and keep it alive. And I just heard something go bang, and I think that's sort of an affirmation. Bang. I'm trying to move a card that says Fire Bearer, High Priestess. And there's a quote, but I think I'll save that to the end. Okay. When we listen, because I think most everybody watching this channel is an intuitive, is a high priestess energy person. You know, you're listening for the message, maybe through tarot, but also just in your own, you're listening to your own intuition. You're busy doing that. You know, you're not being knocked around by the cares of the world. In this energy, I mean, obviously, we all get knocked around by the cares of the world, but this is the ability to pay attention to what's coming in from the inside, not with all the stuff coming in from the outside. Attending to the mystery. Fire bearer. On behalf of the community somehow. You bring the fire and everybody gets to sit around it. I mean, maybe I'm belaboring. Stop talking. High Priestess. First card out. 2 of Wands. We got that yesterday. I don't know if it was the first card out. Maybe it was the last card out. But it was prominent. This is the portal. Getting ready to step through with a destination in mind. And not really in mind in your intuitive sense. You're drawn to something. You know the choice. You're ready to move forward. Fire energy. Fire bearer, perhaps. It's a decision that you've made. Tell us about the decision, please, Spirit. Oh, I like that. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. First card out was Ace of Wands. Look at it. It's right in the hand there. And aces, often speak to I, to the individual. Who's bearing the fire? You are. And this is the opportunity to ignite the next warm place, the place where people circle around and share stories, the warmth, the food. You know, this is the energy of being ready to move toward this new beginning, perhaps a new role. You've chosen to do this. You're taking up the wand. It's a responsibility. I mean, really, it is. But it's something that's you want to do. It brings you pleasure. It brings you great satisfaction in cup energy, in how you feel about something. This fills you up. Apparently this role or this ability to share. I mean, 9s speak to the personal like aces do. But you're sort of interested in bringing the light, the fire energy, to a group because it satisfies you, it satisfies the group as well. I don't know why I keep getting the group thing, but you know, how you bring this, how you keep the flame alive is by aligning with what makes you happy. You can't be a bitter fire bearer. And yet, another 9. Oh, somebody's up in their head. I'm not sure it's you. But this is sort of the opposite of this. This is a loving, connective energy. This is a cold, up in your head, feeling disconnected energy. Great anxiety. I'm just thinking a minute. Okay, up in your head. What's the fear? What's the anxiety? You know, swords are a cold energy in the sense that they're cerebral. And in this one, it's a cerebral energy that is not warm. But somehow there's warmth coming, there's light coming. This is at night. This person is up and up at night, up in their head, up, 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 and not in a good way. I think you're bringing to that situation, because it's your own happiness and connection. It's kind of the counterpoint to this. And these are both 9 cards, which means the personal. And there's also sometimes when these are consecutive 9-9, certain readers that I admire add those 2 numbers together, you get 18. 18 in the major arcana is moon. Cancer energy. Like unto high priestess. Like, remember the woman with the individual with that's moon energy, listening. And it's a card of feelings. It's a card of connection. Cup energy, water energy. So your water and your fire, your knowledge about your own pleasure, your ability to ignite this happiness in other people, at the moment seems stronger. Anyway, let's see. Why the fear? What's the anxiety about? And who is it? Well, what's the anxiety about? Somebody thinks they're trapped in this sword energy. That something, ideas or belief system or something is keeping them bound up, unable to move forward, unable to move backwards, just stuck. But it's a mental state that could change. This cold energy could be, this comes right under Ace of Wands. The cold energy could be warmed up. I think you're the fire, you're bringing a warmth, inspiration, a new beginning. Perhaps to somebody who's been very anxious and up in their head and thinks that there's no escape. They can't get out of their own way. They can't get out of their head. They can't see. She's blindfolded. Swords are about clarity, sight, understanding. This is somebody who's trapped in all the opposite of those. Doesn't understand, can't see, feels stuck. Here comes the fire again. The fire pony. The messenger who has passion and purpose and will find somebody. They're coming into... they're coming in with this. It's right in their hand. They've done it for themselves. They want to do it for you. They've ignited their own fire, and now they're in to warm up this cold sword energy with new, fresh creativity. It's not stuck in your head. It's the quickening energy. It's life force. Raring to go. So I think whatever effect you've had on this person, and I think it's a sword, it's an air sign. Or somebody in that energy of being up in their head and trapped in their head and not happy with it. It's torturing them. And it's both in you come with the fire. You know, the intuitive, innovative energy. Doesn't need to be that way. It can be this way. It can be that way. You're not trapped. You're warming up the sword energy. There's a message coming through. And what this might be is the effect on this person of you is to bring the fire in. to warm up the coldness of repetitive thoughts, the hamster wheel that doesn't move forward. It keeps you stuck. Keeps you stuck. Keeps somebody stuck. And then incoming warmth, passion, purpose, direction, the way out, the way forward. Into the warmth. Tell us about the anxiety again, please. This is an energy of being able to do something about it. To summon all the energies, all the aspects of how we are, how we show up, and work with them to manifest something. And it is work. This is a card of Virgo and Gemini. The above, the below. It's work to manifest. Particularly, like impossible if you're in this place. When you manifest from fear and anxiety, you manifest fear and anxiety. And you're afraid you're trapped, you think you're trapped, then you are trapped. So you've got to warm up the energy, the life force, the idea that you can do it differently. Do it differently, the new way, the warm way. Fire bearer. And for some reason with the Magician card, I'm getting this sort of like, you know, of how you kindle from the spark, the fire, the stick in the thingy, you get it going. You get something going. Somebody gets something going. Fast forward movement. Tell us about the fast forward movement, please. I think out of 8 of Swords, and I'm not sure if it's you or if it's somebody coming into you. Gemini. Well, this is a card of passion, of being passionately motivated to take action in a particular direction. The card of the twins, Gemini. A card of sort of ultimate connection. It's also sword energy, but it's a, you know, it's a very different sword energy. You can't do this while you're doing this. You can't do this while you're, until you manifest, you know, perhaps the new beginning. Till you learn yourself, till they learn themselves. I mean, you know, again, these energies are really waffling back and forth, but I think you're dealing with somebody who is up in their head. And things are changing, and they're shifting fast. Moving into this, you know, a match. And it's also a choice, choosing somebody or something that brings you into this, I want to say high vibe, but that's such a buzzword, but that's sort of what it is. There's a ring to this. It rings true somehow. It's both passion and love. And in fact, it's everything. It's balanced in every way. All the energies at work here. Shazam. I usually say Shazam on Magician card. But look at this. It's a card of Cancer. That same. But this is listening, receiving the message, and then being able to move forward. Major Arcana card of forward movement in balanced emotional energy. Balanced emotional energy. You don't go to this, well, you can go to this by yourself, in that it's internal and external, both. And I think this goes on Two of Wands. Because it's like, it may not be happening right now, but boy, is it in the preparation stage. Somebody's made a decision. They've chosen this. They're moving toward that, and fast. Because on that deeper level, they've become aligned. They've chosen this deep relationship. Both of you. You know, both driving forward emotionally in the same direction. I think you're both going to step through this fire portal. Because your intuition is on point. That High Priestess listening. I mean, we actually haven't gotten High Priestess, but we've gotten the same message as that. So I'm just putting them back where they were so I can, because there's sort of a syntax to tarot. You know, usually you can identify the subject, who's doing it, what are they doing, the verb, and kind of where does it land them. Now, the resolution of the sentence. Well, this sentence is resolving in, you know, the twins in alignment, moving forward in this connection together because they feel the same way. They're drawn to each other. You know, literally like pulling together, drawn to each other and drawn in the same direction. There's movement here. Fast movement. Fast. And it's about love and connection, Cups energy, Cancer, but it's also passionate. Very passionate. Life force energy. Let's go. You know, let's move it. Let's get through this Two of Wands portal. Somebody's chosen to do that. Okay, Queen of Swords. That goes on 9 of Cups. This is like knowing what you want and what you don't want. Because Queen of Swords is a discerning energy. You know, she's no bullshit. She's a clear thinker. And she'll cut something off if it's bunk, if it's a lie. If she's lying to herself. She has clarity about that. This kind of clarity. Sword clarity. Air clarity. And this is, these two are air, not clarity. You know, this is when your mind is working against you, is working against somebody. And this is like basically discerning what makes you happy. What fills your cups. And if it doesn't, you'll be able to identify it. She doesn't lie to herself, and she doesn't tolerate untruths from other people. She might not stay and argue with somebody. She might. Queen of Swords can be a little harsh. But she holds herself to that same standard. I'm telling the truth. You tell the truth. You know, where do you find personal pleasure? Well, it's not in deception. You know, it's not being caught up in somebody else's belief system that traps you. It's cutting that away. You know, she's using that sword, he, she, they, to cut away this kind of energy. Because she knows, sword energy, what makes her happy, what fulfills her, or them, or they. This is sort of, I think, the underlying energy. Oh, wow. 5 of Cups. This is regret. Looking back at something you think you've lost. In Cups energy. Lost love. Lost connection. You know, and maybe being properly, for some time, in this energy. Mourning something. What are we mourning? I'm just looking because don't know. This person knows why they're sad. And that at 5 speak to the need for change. I think they know that it's got to stop. Okay? Queen of Pentacles. This is somebody who has resources in themselves, in their lives, in their, as they exist in the material plane. And again, this fire. Somebody who's bearing the wand again, because they've had a victory. They've borne the fire successfully. You know, it didn't go out. And this card almost always refers to the preceding card, which is 5 of Wands, which is a conflict. Coming back from the conflict, victorious. You know, having regained your personal power after some kind of emotional hit that you felt was a loss. It's not a complete loss. Look, there are 2 cups there. The connection is there. Some connection is there. And I would suggest it's this one. Because somebody's changed their mind, has gotten clear. On what makes them happy. So they've addressed somehow this sadness in them. They've turned around and dealt with it. And now they're on the return. Coming back with something to show for it. That they've had a victory. It makes them proud. Sometimes this is a card described as a card of ego. But I think this is pride in the fact that they've successfully warmed up this feeling of sadness and loss. And now they're coming forward with something to show for it. And I think they want to show you. Because you're the abundant one. You're stable. You're still there. This is a welcoming energy. You know, I've taken care of myself, and it might be this other individual, but they're proud of it. They're proud of what they've done, how they've addressed their emotions after the hurt. But I think they're proud of it, and they want to show you. We'll see. And it could be they're proud of it. You know, they're proud of it because they've done something. But they also somehow want you to be proud. Let's get another Can you just explain that a little more? It's an emotional victory, you know, a cup's victory. It's also like coming back from the conflict with the fire, with this still there, the opportunity for it to reignite something. Now that somebody's out of their head, they can move forward fast into a balanced exchange. Liberated. Liberated. You know, their passion, their purpose, liberated. And they're coming. Which always makes me sort of excited. I mean, I'm curious. They're coming, they're coming. And remember I said that feeling at the beginning that there's something coming? The air pressure, which speaks to how people think, has shifted. It's shifted. It's warmed up to the idea of this connection. This is sort of out in the cold. And I think the change is you've chosen to warm things up, or they have. In Pentacles energy, they're coming to show something to you, Queen of Pentacles. Maybe that they're moving out of that lack mentality, another 5, out of their sadness, to re-enter the world of connection. We've gotten that message over and over again, the message. This is a card of confusion, of many options, of not knowing where to invest your feelings, and being kind of dazed by it. You know, every cup full of something different. But there are a couple that, you know, rise up among all these feelings. Two of cups are being prominent in this person's confusion, something standing out. Something is standing out. Ace of Swords. Some truth. You know, some sword energy, truth about a connection. Somebody's made a choice, and it represents a new beginning. Where passion and understanding, both are having a fresh start. Where there's warmth coming into the equation. It's not just about figuring it out in your head. It's about aligning. You know, this is sort of alignment, in truth, of these two energies, which we've seen all over the reading. That sword energy getting warmed up. Something getting reignited. And this can also mean, like, now. They're both very fast energies. Now. The alignment of these two. For somebody that allows them to move forward passionately. And I think it's toward you. I think they're an air sign. And you may be an earth sign. That Queen of Pentacles. But it's sort of the accord, the alignment. You know, out of this confusion that was isolating, that left you in the cold, that left somebody in the cold. And I think it was them, because, you know, there's an element to air. to the air element that is up in the head, can be trapped there. You're grounding them. Because you're grounded. It's not like you're busy going around trying to ground somebody else. You care about people. That's what you have to give. You know your own value, you recognize it in the other person, and that's what you want to share. And there's a filter against bullshit. Because this is something real. Something real. Go to the quote just to see what it says. I like it in light of this. Because this is life force energy, right? The thing, of course, is to make... This is from... I'm sorry, let me just backtrack. And I didn't write it down. I'll put it in the description box. And it's a compilation of what somebody said in a letter to their son. The thing, of course, is to make yourself alive. Most people remain all their lives in a stupor. 8 of Swords, 9 of Swords. The point of being an artist is that you may live. It is to save yourself. A card of self. So it's about living it, not just thinking it, not being trapped in your head. Living it. Being the fire bearer. Illuminating for yourself and for others. Out of the 5s that need to change, something's definitely changed. And there's reason to be proud of that. Because to get out of this isn't easy. I mean, they rather bound up and blind to something. Not anymore. Not anymore. And I like it that, in that quote, it's all about waking up, coming out of the stupor, coming into clarity. The sword energy that's clear and discerning. You filtered out the other stuff. And I wrote down, the stupor is an attempt at protecting oneself, from being there. If you're in the stupor where you're like this, it's sort of a self-imposed prison. You feel protected at this cost. Protected from being there. But of course, it's not selective. If you're not there for the things that scare you, that make you anxious, you become, if you're in denial, because this is sort of a card of denial, if you're in denial in a big way about one thing, it spreads, it migrates. It's sort of like a malignancy that migrates. You end up being in a stupor to everything, to the good stuff too. If you're protected against protecting yourself against potential hurt, what you lose is this. The light goes out. Light back on, Anyways, I think I've said it again and again. Great message. You know, hear the message, because it'll inspire you. Ace of Wands. And evidently, it's true. Somebody's coming in to tell you the truth. You know, they've conquered something. They feel good about it. And you will too. I think you'll be proud of them. Yeah, till next time, you guys. I invite you to subscribe, like, comment, all of that. Engage in any way you want. I read the comments. They're brilliant. I'm learning a lot from you. So if you think you're learning something from me, remember it's reciprocal. You're not alone, neither am I. Welcome aboard.